Imagine waking up every single day to the same four walls. Slowly, you begin to forget what sunlight looks like. Outside, people are living their normal lives, completely unaware that, beneath the ground, someone has been trapped for years, struggling to survive in silence. Today's story is one of the most shocking true crime cases in European history. It happened in Austria, and it is so unbelievable that many people mistake it for the plot of a horror movie. But every part of this story is real. And when the truth finally came to light, it shocked the entire world. Make sure you stay until the end of this video, because the final revelation left even seasoned investigators speechless. It was August 1984. An 18-year-old young woman named Elizabeth suddenly disappeared without a trace. At first, her family believed she had simply run away from home. A short time later, a letter arrived claiming that she had left voluntarily and didn't want anyone looking for her. Police accepted the explanation. To them, it appeared to be another ordinary missing person case. But no one knew the terrifying truth. Elizabeth had not written that letter of her own free will. The reality was far more horrifying. Beneath the family home was a hidden concrete basement. The room was built so that sound could barely escape. Its entrance was concealed behind what appeared to be an ordinary wall, making it almost impossible for anyone to discover. Inside that dark underground prison, a nightmare had just begun. Days passed. Weeks turned into months. Months became years. While the rest of the world moved forward, time inside that tiny basement seemed frozen forever. After several years, more letters began arriving at the family's home. Each one claimed that Elizabeth was safe, living her own life, and had no intention of returning. The letters were mailed from different cities, making them appear completely genuine. As a result, police became convinced that she had left home voluntarily. But the truth was something entirely different. Hidden beneath the house were only a few small rooms. There was no natural sunlight, only artificial lighting. Very limited ventilation. Cold concrete walls surrounded every inch of the space. This became Elizabeth's entire world. Year after year passed in complete isolation. Meanwhile, another strange mystery began unfolding above ground. One day, a baby was left at the family's doorstep. Along with the child was a letter claiming the baby was Elizabeth's son, explaining that she could not raise him herself and asking her parents to care for him. Then it happened again. And again. More children appeared over the years, each accompanied by a similar handwritten letter. Authorities investigated every time. But because every letter told the same story, investigators found no clear evidence of foul play. Eventually, the family was legally allowed to raise several of the children. To everyone outside, the situation was unusual, but not suspicious enough to uncover the horrifying reality hidden beneath the house. 10 years passed, then 15, then 20. Life inside the basement remained frozen in darkness. Children were born there. They had never seen the sun, never heard birds singing, never watched clouds drift across the sky. To them, the entire world consisted of a few concrete rooms beneath the earth. Imagine growing up without ever knowing what the outside world looked like, without feeling fresh air on your face, without seeing a tree, a street, or another human being beyond your own family. It was a life almost impossible to comprehend. Then, in 2008, everything changed. One of the young women living inside the basement suddenly became critically ill. Her condition deteriorated so rapidly that it became clear she would not survive without immediate medical treatment. For the first time in 24 years, the man responsible for the secret captivity had no choice but to take her to a hospital. Doctors immediately realized something was wrong. The young woman suffered from a series of unusual medical conditions that suggested years of severe isolation and a complete lack of sunlight. As they searched for answers, they asked a simple but important question. Where is her mother? The family gave vague and inconsistent explanations. But this time, the doctors weren't satisfied. They insisted on speaking with the child's mother in person. As the case drew more attention, the media also began reporting on the mysterious situation. Pressure continued to build. Finally, after nearly a quarter of a century, Elizabeth was brought to the hospital. Investigators immediately separated her from the others and interviewed her in private. At first, she was terrified. She struggled to trust anyone. For years, she had lived under constant fear and manipulation. Speaking openly seemed almost impossible. But little by little, she began telling investigators the truth. What she revealed left everyone in the room stunned. She had never run away from home. She had never chosen to disappear. She had spent the past 24 years imprisoned beneath her own family home. The letters, they had never been written voluntarily. The children, they had all been born while she was being held captive underground. Investigators could hardly believe what they were hearing, but when they searched the basement, every horrifying detail was confirmed. Hidden behind a concealed entrance was a narrow corridor leading to several tiny concrete rooms. The underground space had almost no natural light. Ventilation was extremely limited. Everything Elizabeth had described was real. After 24 years, one of Europe's darkest secrets had finally been uncovered. The discovery sent shockwaves across Austria. Within hours, the story dominated international headlines. News organizations around the world described it as one of the most horrifying family crimes in modern history. Investigators spent weeks examining the hidden basement. Forensic experts documented every room, every piece of evidence, and every detail that revealed how the underground prison had been built and concealed for decades. Psychologists and trauma specialists immediately began working with Elizabeth and her children. For some of the children, the outside world was something they had never experienced. They saw the open sky for the very first time. They felt fresh air on their faces. They looked at trees, birds, and sunlight, things most people take for granted every single day. Those moments were deeply emotional for everyone involved. As the investigation continued, prosecutors gathered overwhelming evidence. During the trial, the court heard testimony detailing years of captivity, manipulation, and abuse. The evidence left little room for doubt. In the end, the man responsible was found guilty on multiple serious criminal charges and sentenced to life imprisonment. This case was more than just another crime story. It became a chilling reminder that unimaginable horrors can remain hidden in the most ordinary places. A quiet neighborhood, an ordinary-looking house, a family that appeared completely normal from the outside. After the case, investigators admitted that a more thorough investigation years earlier might have uncovered the truth much sooner. Today, this case is still studied by criminologists, psychologists, and law enforcement professionals around the world. It remains one of Europe's most disturbing true crime cases and continues to raise difficult questions about missed warning signs, investigative failures, and the lasting effects of extreme isolation. Perhaps the most haunting lesson is this. Sometimes the most terrifying crimes don't happen in abandoned buildings or dark alleyways. Sometimes they happen in the very place we believe is the safest, our own home. If you enjoyed this true crime story and want to hear more real cases from Europe and around the world, be sure to stay tuned for the next episode.